So I just convinced you that domain and range are going to be nice, easy problems where you get to write all real numbers all over everything. But real life, not that pretty. Real life has limitations. Real life is not going to be all real numbers. If you're dealing with a word problem, chances are there's going to be some limitations. So you can read your little interesting historical note about Bertrand Russell, but let's go ahead and get to the example so I can give you a short video. Example 10. Zach is making friendship bracelets to fund his spring break plans. He's renting a booth at the Mountain Laurel Festival to sell them and is charging $6 per bracelet. Zach's profit, which is our Y, so that we know is going to be our our range. Zach's profit for selling X number of bracelets, so that's my domain, can be modeled by this function. So we didn't make you write the equation. We're just telling you this is the function. And we want to know what is the domain. Well, domain is his bracelets. So you can look at this function, and that's definitely linear. So I'd be tempted to say, oh, domain's all real numbers. Except all real numbers means you can have negatives. You can have decimals. Can I have negative number of bracelets? No, they all scream at their computers. You cannot have negative bracelets. Can I have fractions of bracelets? Well, I mean, he could make half a bracelet and not finish, but he's not going to be able to sell it. So the domain really here is going to be whole numbers, which means he can make 0 bracelets, he can make 1 bracelets, 2 bracelets, and so on. Now, that kind of goes to infinity. We know that he's not actually going to make infinity number of bracelets or even 1,000,000, but there's no set maximum number of bracelets for him. So that would mean that the domain could conceivably go on forever. We can't say when it ends because we don't know what his maximum number of bracelets would be. So that's how we would answer the domain. This one over here, a tub, well, let's go ahead and talk about the range, since I've got you here anyways. The range is going to be your possible outputs. What is the money that he could have? Well, what you have to do then is you have to think about the lowest value. So this is my domain. If I do range, I would have to think about the lowest possible amount of money he could make. Well, to figure that out, what you have to do is go to your lowest domain, which is 0, and plug that in. So it would be y equals 6 times 0 minus 225. The least amount of money he could make is if he sold no bracelets. If he got up there and everybody just thought he was really bad at making bracelets and they didn't buy it. That would put him in the hole $225. He would owe the $225 that he spent on supplies or whatever that is. The highest, well, let's talk about what happens if we plug in 1. If he sells just 1 bracelet, then it's going to be $6 times 1 minus 225. Well, that's going to be 6 minus 225, which would equal whatever 6 minus 225 is, negative 219, I believe. If I plug in 2, then I'm going to get negative 223. It's going to keep going up by 6 every time. So what you would do then is you would have this pattern. You would say it starts at negative 225. It goes to negative 219. And then if you plug in 3, you get negative 213. And if you plugged in 4, you would get 6 times 4 is 24. Minus 225 would be negative 201. 225. That's ugly, isn't it? You would get negative 201. So then I'd go negative 201. And then you could just put a little dot, 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 meaning that pattern's going to continue. And it's up to the person looking at your answer to realize that that's going up by 6 every time. All right, so a tub drains at a rate of 3 gallons every 20 seconds. The typical tub holds approximately 30 gallons of water. Let y be the amount of water in the tub, so that's your range, and let x be the time in seconds. So it wants us to describe the domain and range. Well, this time, the range is going to be the restricting factor because the range is the amount of water in the tub. If I think about the smallest amount of water that could possibly be in that tub, it's 0 gallons. It's nothing. The tub could be dry. So the smallest y is 0, and it could be equal to 0. That would be the least amount of water. It doesn't go to negative infinity. I can't have a negative amount of water. The most, apparently, according to this problem, I don't know if this is true, but the most gallons of water I could have, the maximum number, would be 30. And we're going to say it's equal to 30. So I can have anywhere from 0 gallons to 30 gallons. Now, since the range was the restricting factor here, I'm going to use that information to figure out what my domain could be, what the least amount of seconds and what the most amount of seconds this tub could be draining water. The least is for sure going to be 0, so I'm going to start with my less thans and my x. I could just leave the water in the tub. My kids do this all the time. They get out of the bath and we get up in the morning and the bathtub's just still full of water because they forget to drain it. So you could drain it no seconds at all. That would be 0. It could be equal to, it's not just starting at 0 seconds. It's equal to 0 seconds if you don't pull the plug. Now, the maximum time. The maximum time is going to be how long does it take 30 gallons of water to drain? Because that's the maximum amount of water. So that's going to take more time than if you had 15 gallons of water that you needed to drain. So if it's 3 gallons every 20 seconds, and I need to drain 30 gallons, then I'm going to multiply that by 10 to get to 30. So 20 seconds times 10, it takes 20 seconds to do 3 gallons. So I'm going to do 20 times 10, and that gets me 200 seconds. So my domain is anywhere from 0 seconds to 200 seconds. Word problems take a little bit more thought, but they also make a little bit more sense. It doesn't make sense that everything's all real numbers because real life we don't go to negative infinity all the time. So go ahead and try a couple of your U-tries. Oh, never mind. You don't have U-tries this time. Go ahead and move on to your practice, and good luck on your mastery check when you get to that.